The biggest danger to graded cards, and thus graded Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Welcome to the Solemn Yu-Gi-Oh channel where we discuss everything collecting and investing in Yu-Gi-Oh. Now, we first need a little history lesson. There's this thing called the junk wax era. And what this refers to is mostly a period in the 90s where sports cards manufacturers started producing a lot of cards. They started producing so many because we had this wild period of speculation. Everyone thought, wow, these cards, they're all going up. Cards are going up. Cards are the next investment. I'm going to put all of my money into sports cards, modern sports cards. And so the printer just said burr, started printing all of these cards to a point where even today, these cards are worth nothing. That is the junk wax era, referring to the wax of the cards. So what this shows you is that when people start wildly speculating on something and a company is able to just produce more and everyone is keeping everything in great condition and there's just so much out there, you have this euphoria. After that, that period ends and a lot of people are left hurt. Now, because of that experience, a lot of people are starting to refer to the current era as potentially a junk slab era, referring to cards being in PSA slabs and potentially turning into junk. Why? Well, we are entering this new type of paradigm shift, or whatever kind of fancy word you want to use, where everyone is trying to grade everything. And so while a card like this, where it's hard to find in this condition, and so grading it is perfectly worth it, it's very old, it has that history, it's part of Yu-Gi-Oh's history. There's currently only like 88 of this in the world. That might be fine, that might be safe. There are people sending in cards worth $5 to PSA, paying, how much is it now, 20 bucks to grade it, and then saying, oh, now this card is worth 200 bucks. It's a PSA 10, you guys. Do you know there's only 5 of this in PSA 10? Why is there 5? Because no one ever cared to send it in. No one ever cared for this card. And so people, and this is not really a big issue in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's more so a big issue in modern sports and modern Pokemon. But people are sending in literally anything. Literally any card. And saying, well, because it's a PSA 10, it's worth more. And some people are priced out of cards like this, or even better cards, and say, you know what? I can't afford the however many $1,000 Time Wizard, but I can afford the $5 Time Wizard from this modern era. And you know, it's a 10, so it's rare. I'm gonna sit on it for years and one day it's gonna be worth a lot. There's so many people who think that way and are buying these PSA 10s. It's so hard to get, you know, and speculating on these that we now have this massive backlog in PSA of all cards that are absolutely worthless. Hundreds of thousands of commons from Pokemon, or modern cards that are just very common, or sports cards that are very, very common. And so as this massive backlog, literally millions of cards, comes back, what's gonna happen? Millions of slabbed cards are essentially unwanted and worthless. But because they were stuck at PSA for so long, it seemed like there wasn't enough supply. Because of that, prices went up, and so demand artificially went up as well. Because there's not enough out there for everyone, and it's gonna keep going up. So, as that pop comes back, all the worthless cards, despite you having paid many hundreds to get all of them graded, will still be worthless cards. And you will have what we might know as junk slabs. Slabs with literal junk. That is the theory of how the junk slab era will play out. Now, if you are mostly in cards like this, you are not that concerned currently. Because, well, these are rare. The pop is 88. Might it go higher? Sure, might be a bit higher. Maybe in 3 years it'll be 120. At best, I think. And then gradually, you know, all the raws will have run out and that's it. It's not really gonna go up much after that. You notice in PSA 10 base first edition, the pop in Pokemon really hasn't gone up all that much because you already had a grading craze in 2016. And even in Yu-Gi-Oh, you know, LOB and SDK pops really haven't moved much. Will they still move? Probably, you know. The other day you had another LOB first edition PSA 10 Blue Eyes getting graded, so that's one extra to the pop. I think that was the last one in a year or something, but it has tremendously slowed down. So if you think I'm holding these types of cards, I'm safe. Well, yes, but also no. Why? Well, when all of these junk slabs come back and that entire modern market crashes, and it very likely will. I know not many people think it will, but modern slabs will very likely crash. You will start noticing a lack of euphoria. Right now we're still in euphoria. All of these cards are still only going up. They've only been going up. Also, this is no financial advice, but so far they've only gone up. This euphoria is very exciting. But around modern slabs, you also had a euphoria because it's all been up. But as that euphoria wanes and people are left holding the bag, you will start seeing articles that are basically the opposite of right now. Right now you have articles of, oh, this card is going up. Oh, all the sports cards are going up. All the Yu-Gi-Oh cards are going up. All the Pokemon cards are going up. All of that hype, that's a story. But then once that shifts and people start saying, whoa, these modern Charizards are all worthless now. You now have junk slabs. Pokemon is crashing. Sports is crashing. Once you start having the negativity around the shit, the overall euphoria will also shift. And so while there will be people who understand nothing changed, a lot of speculators will move away because they, completely uninformed, think that all slabs are doing bad now, not just the junk slabs. When the junk wax era basically came crashing down, a lot of sports cards in general no longer did very hot. Even though there were properly rare cards, the hobby just, slowed down a little because the euphoria was gone. The Timmies were gone. And while those Timmies don't play in the same market as you, they do change how people perceive that market and its validity. So while you may be holding the big cards, it's very possible that the Timmies getting screwed on the lesser cards will passively still kinda screw you. Now, I'm not saying that these will come crashing down like that. They might, but I don't think so. It's very hard because, again, this is mostly in the hands of people who don't need to sell. Regardless, we will still have less liquidity. And so prices can stagnate and slightly retrace, despite nothing having changed about the validity of said market. And you need to be aware of that. You need to still, even though this is very exciting, not over leverage or overexpose yourself, in my opinion, because that waning euphoria, even though it was triggered by junk, will still affect the diamonds. But that's just my take. I would love to hear your arguments and thoughts in the comments down below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and I will see you soon. Ciao.